How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the M2 Motor YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be working on my 2006 Scion XB. It is my daily driver. Going to be doing an oil change on it. Real simple thing to do, and doing some, basic visual inspection to make sure, everything's good. The car has about 150,000 miles on it now, and it's been very reliable throughout its whole life, and these things are designed to last at least 300,000 miles, so it's got a lot of life left in it. Through the process, I'm going to show you, the oil change, what to do, what not to do, and show you some of the things to look at visually while the car's on jack stands and you're doing the work. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that like button for me. I definitely do appreciate it, and enjoy. Here's the oil I'm going to be using today. It is AMSOIL's OEM synthetic motor oil 5W30, and I'm just using a STP filter. Usually I use nicer filters for my other cars. This is a daily, never had a problem. I've always used these or basic Fram filters in my first XB, and every XB after I've never had a problem, so I just use that. Obviously it's a lower brand, cheaper oil filter, but I change the oil religiously on all the cars, and especially the dailies, so no big deal. There's the drain pan. I'm using race ramps that I got the car on. It's a little bit forward. I'm gonna move it a little bit back before I start. Drove it up myself and kind of went a little too far. This makes life easy. I don't have to use jack stands or anything. Just drive up on this, put the e-brake, put the car in first, and you're good to go, and it gets the car high enough to work on underneath. The engine bay here, car's pretty much stock minus the engine intake, the OptiMeb battery, and obviously the aesthetic valve cover. This is off the blue XB I had before, which was Ron's XB. I decided to leave this with the car. It's a piece I really like. The car has, HIDs that came with the car when I bought it. One upgraded radiator hose. And I also have a aluminum radiator upgrade for better efficiency and cooling. It does make a difference, believe it or not, during summer months when I'm driving, back and forth to LA up to Vegas, when it's like 115, 120 degrees out. This car runs just fine, and it doesn't even get anywhere near overheating. I do have a water temp gauge installed additionally to the car that came with the car, which is nice. So, and the temperature is always read lower, so it's a great thing. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Alright, so right now the oil is draining. I loosened the oil cap on top to relieve the pressure from top, so that way it just all drains out. It's gonna take a few minutes. I visually checked the radiator reservoir tank. It's a little low, so I'm gonna go ahead and top that off. And just visually inspecting for everything else. What I'm usually looking for is any, wet spots around the engine for oil or any fluids, things like that. If I don't see anything, then we're good. I'm pretty sure it's good. I looked at it a few months back and nothing's changed. In the situation we are living in right now, I haven't really gone anywhere much, so yeah. But always, preventative, 30-second look around, you're good. So the oil pan was already draining pretty much empty. I removed the oil filter, and obviously a lot of oil came down, but I managed to make it relatively nice and neat. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the area, wait for it to drain a little more spray, a little brake clean, wipe down the areas of where the oil splattered out on the car, so when it heats up it doesn't smoke, it doesn't do any of that. It's nice and neat. put the drain plug back in, so that's good to go. I gotta put the new oil filter on. So what you're supposed to do is take a little bit of the new oil, rub the oil seal down. If, fortunately for this car, the filter goes upside down, back up, so I'm actually gonna rub some oil on the seal and also fill up the oil inside the oil filter, so that way when the car starts, there's no areas of just air and it's not running dry per se. So I'm on the second to last quart of oil that filling up. Obviously not in a rush, so I'm just taking my time, like I said. After that, I'm gonna start the car, make sure everything's running good, no leaks, nothing else. Still gotta top off some coolant, so I'm gonna do that in just a moment. And yeah, start to make sure everything's good, and then get the car back down. And from there, the part I hate doing is taking all the used oil from the oil pan and putting it back into the quarts of oil so I can go ahead and recycle the oil. That's sometimes, most of the time I don't make a mess, occasionally I do, is what it is. So I'm going to do that. The oil I can see here is very, very black. It's hit 5,000 miles. The recommended oil change is oil change service is every 5,000 miles, which is what I'm doing now. I'm going to go ahead and reset the internal mileage clock that the XB has. Every 4,500 miles it starts blinking maintenance required, so I'm gonna go ahead and reset that. It's been on, so yeah, on that, pretty straightforward, simple thing, something I wanted to share with you guys. If you guys are new to working on cars, these are one of those basic essential things aside from rotating your tires, which I'm not going to do today. The tires, I just rotated them the other day, so no big deal when I was working on it at a friend's shop. But yeah, other than that, the car has had all the maintenance done, all the plugs, the trans fluid, obviously the oil change when I did it back then. Went through everything, and everything is looking really good. No leaks, no seepage, nothing. It's a solid car, so I've been really happy with it. My only complaint with this car is it is slow, but that is to be given with this kind of car. But it's been very reliable. So I'm just letting the oil cycle through, gonna check to see if there's any visual leaks. And that's pretty much it. That concludes the video, and that should be good to go. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you supporting the channel. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more interesting things that I'm going to be doing. This, I know, is a little bit of a routine thing, but I wanted to show people that are new to working on cars what to do and how to do things when doing your own maintenance. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next time.